Documentaries, and I'm joined as always by the most honest man I know, Rick Wharton. He may be honest, but my God, he can't read a fucking text. What show are we reviewing today, Rick? What day is it, Rick? Why are we here, Rick?
Right.
Why am I sweating my ass off in my little room here, Rick? Have you got some explaining to do, Rick?
Well, if you let me get a fucking word in edgeways.
I'm turning the knife. I'm building tension.
That's been building for quite some time, young man. If this is the one, this happens, I'm fucking cool with it. I'll let you know that right now.
The weird thing is, you phoned me up today, and I'm like, "Oh, hello." You're like, "What are we going to record?" I'm like, "Fuck, I forgot. Shit."
Yeah, so we are flying by the seat of Matt's pants here today to get that 7 a.m. deadline. To get it out. So this is what happened. It's going to be a special episode today. We're actually discussing two documentaries because there was a slight admin hiccup. Now, Matt sent me. So as you know, who does the admin within this company, it definitely wasn't my fucking fault. Matt has decided Disney Plus is a tax write-off for him, so we have to do some Disney Plus documentaries.
No, I stole it.
And he sent...
I've stolen my Disney Plus login, yeah. I did have it.
It's just a domino
I did
effect.
have it, but I was like, I can't justify this.
That's what everyone needs to do, really, isn't it? Have one mate with one login for everything.
Yeah, so we have a family, and this is how everyone gets their content, right? So one member of the family's got Amazon, another member's got Disney Plus, another member's got Sky.
But you're annoyed you've got the expensive one. Can I watch Star Wars Bad Batch, please? Yeah. Thanks very much, Matt, for using your Sky. So basically, the one Matt sent me, it's a very short documentary. What was yours called?
Mine is called Shark versus Surfer.
Shark versus Surfer, yeah. And I ended up, and he said it's 44 minutes, and I plugged Shark in, and I watched Shark versus Man.
No, you watched Man versus Shark. That's the...
Oh, shit, I think we need to watch the documentary.
We're less than 11 hours till publishing, Rick. It's not going to... That was so funny yesterday when we sat down to record, and I went... So, and I always say beforehand, don't I? So, right, just to confirm, this is what we're talking about. And we've done 100 of these. And you went, the second I said it, you went, you what? And I was like, oh, he's winding me up. He's funny, this bloke. I went, yeah, Shark versus Surfer. And you're like, no, Man versus Shark. Oh, okay. So now we've both watched both of them. So here we are.
So it's a coin toss. Which one do you want to do first?
Let's do the quickie first. So I think Man versus Shark. There's more meat on the bone. Excuse the pun there. That's not a pun, is it? Excuse the bad joke there on Shark versus Surfer. There's more meat on the bone. I personally think.
You reckon?
Yeah. Well, here's what Man versus Shark. Let's do them both, right?
All right, listen. Wait a sec. Let's just pump the brakes and because we've came in here at a 10. Let's just let it simmer. And to be honest, there's only two scenes in either of these documentaries, and they're in fucking both of them. Yeah, so we very, very rarely are up to date, current, topical, all that shite with our thing. So very quickly, Matt, do you have anything going on in life you would like to plug?
I do. If you're in Faversham on Friday, the 30th of July. I know this is weird because it's going to, this is going to be a 2-week advert, and then this could be there for 100 years, this podcast, and people could be listening to it in the future. But if you are, Friday the 30th of July, you want to come and see me perform my show, which my good friend Rick has helped me put together. It's I'm Not Cute, I'm Angry, and it's at the Faversham Fringe.
Is that the title you went for?
Yeah.
Can you take my name off that one there, Matt?
Which I liked your suggestion that Battle of Wheels is very good. But I'd already been suggested for that for a podcast. And here we are on discussing documentaries. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Right, so let's do, if you want to come along, jump on our Facebook page. There's a link there. You can buy tickets. Or not. Just come along and just chuck some money in the bucket at the end.
And because everyone's already wondering what my opinion is on it, have you seen the latest news that would concern me?
No.
So do you know how Newcastle United was going to arbitration with the Premier League, given the Saudi?
I am aware of that.
Have I mentioned that? Did you see that? Because sometimes it doesn't stick with you. I didn't know if you've been picking up. All right, okay. So that was end of July. We're gonna get our result for that one. And then yesterday, an article came out saying it's been adjourned due to disclosure of evidence problems until February. So I am fucking seething.
That doesn't make sense. So if there's a court case going on and they disclose evidence, what will the wait until February do? Has everyone got short-term memory? What, they're going to get everybody stoned so we all forget?
Basically, if I know me nerdy shit from crime documentaries, it's called a Brady violation.
Oh, okay.
So that is when you haven't put something in discovery that you later intend to show court. So you have to show both prosecution and both sides have to have sculpatory access to the evidence.
You would make, just from watching documentaries, right, if the apocalypse happened and then sort of society got rebuilt and we got kangaroo courts popping up everywhere, you'd be a lawyer.
Well, I can just imagine today the court's in session, but before we start, the Newcastle United takeover is still ongoing, ladies and gents.
I think there's only two people who really, there's three people who really genuinely care about the Newcastle takeover. Who I know. That's you, Ozzy Sarah, and me. And we're just fascinated by you, I think, mate. That's just.
I'm waiting. Will you wait until our sugar man moment in Saudi Arabia when we come and they're like, they're here to liberate us? I was like, no, I'm here for you, centre backs, love. Sit back down. Sorry about your troubles. So. Today we are doing man versus shark plus surfer versus shark. These are both on Disney Plus. They're pretty short, and trust me, we're about to tell you pretty much everything that happens in them.
Well, so let's start with man versus shark because it's got the weirdest thing. There's no director.
Do you know what? I can understand that.
So this
is the generation. I think there is a renaissance since these documentaries, because this is of a time, this type of documentary.
Rick, it was in 2019. What do you mean? It's 2019's now.
Oh, shit. I just don't watch these type of documentaries.
No, me neither.
Because the History Channel basically became about sharks very quickly. The Geographic Channel is just there is so many shark documentaries. But I was looking at it.
I'll just quickly back that up, right? So here's the shark documentaries, and I can see why you made the mistake. There is man versus shark, shark versus tuna, shark versus whale. What the Shark, I like that one. Great Shark Chowdown, they were running short there. Journey to Shark Eden, sounds nice. Secrets of the Bull Shark, Sharkatraz. When Sharks Attack, Sharkano, 700 Sharks, Sharks of Lost Island, and Finding Nemo. They are all available on Disney Plus. I can see why you made the mistake.
I can't tell you how disappointed I was that Sharky and George isn't on there.
What's Sharky and George?
Oh, they're the crime busters of the sea. They were fucking excellent.
Oh, okay.
It was like a cartoon as a kid. I know we're different ages.
Very much, yeah. So yes, I can. Yeah, there's a lot of shark shit, right?
But I had high. Do you know what? I didn't have low expectations for this because the description was, man tries to get bit and survive. And I'm like, this is already better. Already better than Octopus Teacher. I'm like...
I made that note. Hey, Octopus Teacher guy, this is how you do Jeopardy in the water. This is it, son.
Exactly. And they must have been like, in the award ceremony, like, so what, did he try and get eaten by the octopus? What was... he just...
So man versus shark. Let's do that one. So effectively, a geezer called Jeremiah Sullivan decides he's been inventing armored suits for shark divers, for over 40 years. And basically, he builds a new suit. And here's the bit I loved. And to me, this documentary went rapidly downhill. It starts with Jeremiah Sullivan on the Merv Griffin show.
Yeah.
Now, the Merv Griffin show was like a Johnny Carson late night talk show. But Merv Griffin, the reason I know about him, one of the best ever episodes of Seinfeld was when they find the set for Merv Griffin and Kramer sets it up in his front room.
Yep.
And yeah, they go around and play with that woman's toys and they drug her by giving her turkey because it's got tryptophan in it and it sends her to sleep. And they all, and then he brings on as the big reveal. It's a great episode of Seinfeld.
Yeah, any British fans out there that hasn't checked out Seinfeld, I'd thoroughly recommend it if you get in isolation.
Yeah, man. It's on E4.
I only came across it 4 years back.
Really?
I binged it in a week. Yeah. It never came in my world.
Wow.
I always saw Seinfeld as the what's the deal with airline food. I didn't realize just how awesome he was until you sit down and pay attention to it. Curb Your Enthusiasm got me to watch it. It was when Curb had those guys come on for the reunion special. Right. I decided to go back and check it. But so just to put in perspective, the sharks have killed about 50 people in the last 20 years.
I thought it was 13 in the last 100.
Okay.
Anyway, it wasn't many, right?
And we kill around 11,000 sharks a day, and we've seen Seaspiracy. That's legit. So did you ever see the problems Anthony Jeselnik got into bother with doing this? He went mini viral.
What, with sharks?
Yeah.
No?
So he had a show, and he's an offensive one-liner comic type. And so he says the deaths are so weighted against sharks, so 11,000 a day against 50 over 20 years. When someone gets eaten by a shark, he does a thing called Shark Party to celebrate the sharks having a win. And if you check it out on YouTube, it's really funny. And he comes out and he has like scantily clad women dressed as sharks. He dances around and celebrates the sharks' victory. Someone took that clip and sent it to the family of the guy who got eaten, and then they tried to get him, in bother with that.
Oh, fair enough. To be fair, we are in the sharks' territory. So
I do feel that because they say the sharks swim. I'm like, oh, sharks swimming? Or are they just existing there and we're swimming next to the sharks? We choose to do that.
Yes, because this guy's building like the best armored suit you can have so he could swim with sharks. I actually have a shark-resistant suit. It's in my cupboard right now. I always wear it on land, and I haven't been attacked by a shark once. It's fucking great. It's from Gresham Blake in Brighton. It's perfect.
A shark-resistant suit. Is it made of the mesh?
No, it's made of wool. I just don't wear it in the sea, and I'm fine. It's just great.
All my clothes must be shark-resistant. I've not been bitten yet.
And it's... When I was a kid, right, there were these really great sort of pre-Attenborough. There were these wildlife shows, and you would see, cheetahs and the zebras and all of that stuff. This reminded me of that. It just seemed very okay. It was, I think, like the guy in it, Jeremiah. To me, this was his CV. That's all it was. It was a video CV for Jeremiah. To
me, it seemed like a pitch video to get funding for his Iron Man suit.
Yes. Yeah.
No, it seemed a lot like that. It is funny though, because as a kid you watch so much stuff with. As an adult, I'm surprised that I've not been around either sharks or fucking. I've never had someone tied to a train track or quicksand. All this stuff you see constantly as a kid in cartoons just never comes up in actual life for me. And do you know what? I'm not sad about it. I'm not sad about it. But this.
I've had baby sharks swim past me in the Maldives. So yeah, well, you just they swim in. The baby sharks live in the shallows. They're about half me, right, and about 2.5 foot long. They're lovely, but they ignore you. They've got no interest in you. Sharks are not that
comes
interested.
Up in the next one. Yeah, that comes up a lot in the next one. So this one, I'll tell you, and it was a problem with both of them. They really devalued everything they did for me. The fucking voiceover guy.
Come on. Okay, so hang on. So the voiceover guy in Man v Shark is called Dave Hoffman.
Right.
Those blokes were hired because they could do Jeopardy in their voice. What's he gonna do? The shark is coming towards him.
There's an old man with great arms, best great arms on a guy over fucking Jeremiah's 55, arms. 60 I've ever seen.
Yeah.
This guy's... what don't you need when you have live footage of a man stood there as a hammerhead shark swims towards his head? A guy trying to pump up the fucking volume, do you know what I mean? At no point do I...
Here it comes.
Yeah, it's the trailer voice guy in a world where fucking, you know, and he's doing it constantly, and you can tell it's made for TV. So you see 5 minutes, and they cut to what would have been an advert break, and then they tell you the last minute back every 5 seconds.
It's so annoying. That's bad editing. You know who's a video editor? Patreon pal Dale. He wouldn't have had none of that crap, mate. I don't want to shame. I don't want to do any shark shaming here. But the more I looked at the hammerhead shark, the more I'm like, that is just a messed up shark head. So the hammerhead shark is the one where the eyes are on the side, and it looks like
I know what a hammerhead shark is.
It looks got crushed. No, but some of the listeners might not know. So, and it looks like its head's been squashed, and it's all flat at the front like a big fin.
I'll tell you what, if you are one of our listeners who does not know what a hammerhead shark is, could you please get in touch with us? Could we have a Patreon tier that would be fucking perfect for you? It includes shark deterrent suits. You'd love it. You need it. You need it in your life.
We are not going to sat here.
If you're sat here going, a hammerhead shark, what does that look like?
Come on. I just thought it went. I didn't want to shame the
shark.
They
look messed up. They look messed up.
It just, looks very... very, very bad.
But it looks like it's not bad footage they've got of the sharks coming up to them. They're going in.
Great footage. But they're wearing those scuba masks where you can talk. And I don't think that was their conversation. I think they recorded the conversation afterwards. And again, to add more jeopardy.
There's a shark slowly moving towards them. And then he's just like, yep, it's coming in. All right. It's going to take the chum from your hand now. Because I got to be honest, if that's me in that situation, the real conversation is, fuck.
But how cool is he, right? That Jeremiah, he's a cool fucker. Because this shark, a tiger shark, comes for him. And he just puts his hand on its head and steers it out of the way. And he's so cool.
Yeah. It's like puts a hand on top of her nose, misdirected.
Yeah.
And they're releasing chum, so more and more of them fucking come.
I can go slow ahead. You come down here, chuck some of this crap in the...
They go down to see what the sharks are like, then they come back up, and now they're going to start testing stuff. Now, they come out of the water, and it's when they start the testing, right? And there's some certain little... I don't know if I'm just... watched too much news and heard too many people red-pilled and things like that, but when Jeremiah starts going, what we need is real-world data, not things you find on it's that word, real-world data, has a disdain on it, like fake news, do you know what I mean? Or like Marxist propaganda, or fucking...
The machines can't tell us everything. We need to get in there with it. What are you going to do, Jeremiah? Well, we're going to build a load of machines. Oh, okay, Jeremiah. You're just undermining what you just said, mate.
So the first one is to see how hard they bite. He goes, we need to get in there with the sharks and find this stuff out. And it's just like, and they put like a clock in its mouth and it measures how much it
the
bites.
pounds per square inch.
And you're like, bites pretty hard.
That's some real well data shit right there.
You don't get that in a textbook. You don't. All right, this is. And then they go down. He's got a little test with the mesh on it, and then you see the suit he's trying to build. Now I have a theory of his end game goal here. I think he's trying to build a suit so that this can become a rich guy hobby where you fight a shark at the bottom of the ocean. I think it's like going to be a thing where Bezos and where fucking what's his face, and they go down and like they've done all the ivory hunting, they've done this, like but have you uppercutted a hammerhead shark? And you go down, they're going to have the UFC guy going, it's time.
Joe Rogan's commentating.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got Elon Musk.
I've got him in a headlock. Just best.
And people would watch that, right? Wrestling fans would go, love that shit.
Well, not after you see how easy it is to redirect. They clearly aren't that bothered about eating humans.
They're not that bothered at all. What I like about the shark, though, is when he holds out a piece of meat for the shark eats it, and then you kind of see a shark's eyes. They look really sarcastic because they go white, and it looks almost cartoonish. You're like, is he being sarky? Because he's like, yeah, I can't eat this guy. No, of course I can't. I'm a shark. I can travel 70 miles an hour underwater. I could take this guy's head off and no one would know who did it.
He's saying things like, I need to learn how food motivated sharks are. I think you're going to learn that, Jeremiah. I think you're going to have a good fucking idea.
But there was... so I texted you, didn't I? And I'm like, Rick... this is shit. This is dog shit. Because I'd already sat through Surfer versus Shark. And at least on Surfer versus Shark, there was some jeopardy, right? With genuine consequences. Rather than what this seemed like was a man making a snuff turtle film. That's all this. Because that was just hurts, awful. Here's some more footage of a turtle being eaten by a shark. You're like, can you stop showing me that, please? We get it. A shark can bite through a turtle's shell. But how many times did they show that? 5 times? You're like, oh, stop. Yeah. Come on. I was hoping, this is going to sound awful. I was hoping the shark was going to attack him just so we could see something real. Because it didn't, and I know it was probably real, but again, you've seen so much danger.
The music and the voiceover makes it seem they're trying to make it into a TV show.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's and it cuts to the break and goes, now he's gonna come hide the head. And it's like, holy fuck, it's a tiger shark. Like, but they're just so calm when they say it. If they were panicked, like when they're redirecting, whoa, don't point them out here. Fucking hell.
Dave, take it. But you can tell it's made for TV because it's 44 minutes long. Because you'd have 16 minutes of adverts, right? That's about it for this one.
So then he does the test with the carbon thing, because what he's doing is the sharks. He then goes back down to check out the stuff that he's going to make the suit out of. So he does the chain mill and then he does the carbon rods,
carbon fiber. Yeah.
So what he's doing, and again, this is if you just didn't make it so fucking like what would be Kojak? Do you know it was the same move if Kojak was being chased by a fucking shark? Or Quincy, or any fucking like male lead road hero detective every guy, that would be shot like like those old school 80s car chases. You'd be like, fuck. So what he's got to do is stand there with some fish, bop a shark on the nose so it opens its mouth. He's opening the shark's mouth and then shoving a fake hand in there made out of carbon rod, and then trying to get it back out of them while other sharks circle them.
Yeah, it's already scary, right? Yeah, you didn't need the music, the narrator, although the narrator's voice is quite sexy. All I thought during this was my sobriety is probably one of the most important things to me. But that documentary made me question that. I'm like, is it that important? I got 6 bottles of whiskey downstairs. I don't know. I just let's see what's going on in that cupboard, for Christ's sake.
That's brilliant, because me and Matt, during our little therapy sessions, have discovered Matt's a doomsday prepper.
Yes, very much. Yeah.
And
I have been for 20 years.
He's got like 300 stacks of fucking baked beans and all sorts in a little bunker under his house. And I just love the idea that, we did the right thing. I've married the right guy. And then Matt goes, yep, but it's time to drink. Start the party.
I don't know why I've stockpiled a lot of whiskey, because my sobriety is genuinely important to me. But listen, he builds this suit. Fair play to Jeremiah. And there's not a lot more to say, is there? He builds the suit. It's the videos he's got of how the suit's going to look. Now, they're cool. The actual suit itself basically looks like... the suit itself looks like the pipe I've got outside my house on my drainage system.
Yeah. It seems like he's got a few steps to go yet.
Because he needs it to not be crushed by the shark. The interesting thing was, they have a top 10 of shark killers, and the bull shark sits in at number 3. And they didn't talk about what's number 1 or number 2. But they went
tiger sharks. I think great white's number 1 and tiger sharks number 2.
Wait, in terms of numbers of people they've killed.
Yeah, because they bring that in on the next one.
Right, okay.
Which brings us happily along to people who don't have carbon rod hands to bop them on the nose with.
Yeah. And the reason, just so you know, the reason I chose the shark thing is because I was on Twitter. I was trying to do something for our Twitter feed, and I saw that what was trending was that shark attacks have been rebranded in Australia. They're not called shark attacks anymore. They're called negative encounters or interactions. And that's in a bid to reset humanity's relationship with the misunderstood creatures. I just thought, have we not got enough shit going on that someone's gone, whoa, 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 hang on, think about the sharks.
Well, it's like when they changed global warming to climate change because, the oil companies went, well, what about us?
Yeah.
And if you can change the word global warming to climate change to suit your own nefarious needs to sell oil, by God, you can get past an owners and directors test to own my fucking football club.
That's when you know Rick isn't engaged with a documentary, because the Newcastle references go up by 18%.
I read that. It's the same as fucking chicken people. I read that and went, what am I watching? Surfer versus Shark. I hope these cunts are limbless. Limbless.
It just seems insane that... Well, it doesn't, right? Because then there's the Nate Braganza. Have you ever watched him? He's a comic. He's a lovely, right? He's a clean working comedian. And he's beautiful. His accent's from Tennessee. And the advert I saw for him the other day, he went, Leonardo DiCaprio just tweeted out that 100 million sharks are killed every year. That was it. No solution, no nothing. He just tweeted that out. You're like, oh, okay. I don't think rebranding a shark attack as a negative encounter is going to reduce us killing sharks. It's not, is it? That's not going to help shark numbers at all. I think the only thing that's going to help shark numbers is the pandemic wiping out all of mankind.
I need a little theme tune for a Matt Will sticking point. I just need to go, it's that time of the week. The Matt Will sticking point.
I'll speak to Tom. I'll get our musician to... Actually, I met a composer the other day. I'll speak to her. And this programme did genuinely contain distressing scenes. So effectively, if you haven't worked out what Shark versus Surfer's about, basically it's surfers who have survived shark attacks. It is proper violent. It's like we've done one violent episode last week with Calico Storico, and then we followed it up with an even more violent episode.
which if I look at the numbers is coming a swift ending to Matt's picks of documentaries.
I've picked a couple of I've got my hands up, man. This has got me. I apologise.
We got one coming up. I'll tell you off the air, but we're doing that the day it comes out in the next few weeks.
Oh, it's coming. Go on, drop. I won't. What's it called?
Pray Away.
Pray Away.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Sweet. Right. I won't Google it or anything. I got to go in fresh. So since 2001, some nice little stats here. 55 people.
So this is Surfer versus Shark run now.
Yeah. Was it?
This is why we need to do 2 as well. Do you know what I mean? This is the good thing that we fucked up yesterday.
Good shout on this one. They've got a director, Phil Stebbing. I think it shows. Now I've seen the 2 of them. This to me was the more powerful one. And yeah, just the stats in this one are fascinating. Again, both of them are really pro shark, even though sharks are eating, a couple of people.
So this is basically victim accounts of people who have been attacked by sharks. Now, Unfortunately, 50% of people that are attacked by sharks are surfers.
Yes. Now, there's an easy way we can stop 50% of shark attacks. Teach surfers to read the fucking shark signs, because they're not all of the beaches. There are sharks here. Don't go in the water. They're like,
See,
I'll be all right.
I had a different philosophy. Make surfers wear GoPros. Because if you're gonna get bitten, I tell you what, I've said this. If I criticise Werner Herzog, I'm criticising these fuckers. They had no footage of it.
Yeah, there is no footage of it. But what they do is they pour blood into the water to give you the feeling that there's footage of it.
I think if I've watched Seaspiracy, I think if you just swim for 10 minutes, you see that amount of blood anyway.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So the first couple up is Dusty Phillips.
Yeah, Dusty Phillips. Yeah,
Leanne
Erickson. Yeah, and I couldn't help but this proper tickled me, and I know it shouldn't because some poor lady and all when they interview the couples, you don't know which one was bitten by the shark, but then you work out it's the one they're doing the headshot on. Yeah, all right.
Looking like a Futurama character.
Yeah. And she said she was swimming, he was surfing, but they were both there together, and they saw a sea lion, which popped its little head up, looked panicked, and then disappeared. And then, basically, she gets bitten by a shark. The sea lion, he found some patsies. That's what the sea lion did. The sea lion, I can't outrun it. Oh, okay, here we go. I just got to outrun you, darling.
So she gets a sharp bite just in the thigh, and it gets dragged down into the deepest water.
Yeah.
And the way she gets out is she just puts her hand through the shark's eye.
Yeah. She said it's really soft and squishy. All right.
And then, so she gets out, they get her to an ambulance, and the thing is, they show the scar.
Oh,
that's what they do for her. The damage that fucking Leanne got to her leg is fucking heart-wrenching. It is just... It looks like... Do you know when you watch a cartoon and someone bites into a biscuit and it's got that perfect...
Yeah, it's exactly...
3-tooth mark out of it. It's like her... Like, it's gone. That part of her leg is now... It's just like she's still got her leg, but the fact she's managed to save that is incredible.
The part the shark bit away was her glute, which is her bum cheek, and her hamstring.
Oh.
Right. So, yeah, she needs an aid to walk. But listen, she was lucky, right? She's walking. Do you know what's scary now? That shark is double scary because he's got this eye patch across.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. There is a shark with an eye patch somewhere just waiting for her.
She was a quick swimmer, that one. Where is she?
It's the editing they do on this one. They don't have that. They have rock music for the shark. It might as well have like "We Will Rock You." The shark's like, it's got footage of a shark turning around going, "Buddy, you're a young man, old man." Just one-eyed shark coming along to them.
When you see her, so you see part of her operation, don't you? You see cuts of her leg. I'll post it on our Facebook page, but I've got a picture of my leg after my hip operation. So you've probably noticed already, but what they do is they get your leg, they lay you down flat on your back, and they snap your leg up so that your ankle touches your forehead, and that dislocates your hip. And then they cut you from your glutes, basically, your bum. And I've got a picture of that I sent to a friend of the show, Kate. And it keeps popping up on my Facebook feed. And I saw it the other day. So I'll post it. And it's exactly like this woman's operation. It's fucking brutal. The colours are incredible. It's like a Monet painting. The colours are beautiful. It's like a lovely purple sunset.
I don't know how you've managed to be vain about your hip operation. It's a Monet, some of his impressionist work. Early Renaissance, you know, and everyone's like, ugh.
I did tell you I was vain. You've always known it. Have you ever watched Bob Mills's In Bed With Me Dinner? Are you too young for that?
No.
All right.
No, never seen
so
it.
it was him taking the piss out of TV shows, right? It was an adult version of
Gogglebox. Charlie Brooker's Screen Wipe.
Yeah, it was like that. And there's one where he's interviewing, I think the guy's name is Paul Metcalf, and he's one of the most dangerous prisoners in the UK. And he's telling a story, and he goes, I swam in the Bahari Straits when it's full of sharks. And Bob Mills is like, did you see the pause there? He had to think of the bullshit line he was going to say. And he goes, you know how you can keep sharks away? You just punch him in the fucking ear. I must have seen that 20, 30 times. And he just keeps cutting back to it throughout. Just punch him in the fucking ear. Yeah, and that's effectively what these people do. They punch the sharks in their fucking heads and the shark swims away.
Yep. And then, so that's pretty much it for those two. Then the next couple, this is, again, once you get to this point in the documentary, you've unfortunately seen the documentary because it is...
Oh, yeah.
What they then, so they basically say, like, so they have these specialists come in at the end, these talking heads go, so now that I've heard the story, what I think is that those sharks were actually looking for the sea lion. So if you see sea lion, be careful. And then it goes to the next one. And then this one's in Hawaii. And
they said, oh, she was probably mistaken for a turtle. I reckon the shark's like, no, I'm looking for a woman who took my eye. Where's that fucking cow? Come on.
If you'd been bitten by a shark, now I am not having a go. I thought this was a very nice lady. I would have said at the top.
They're all lovely people.
But I see this more as a directorial producer thing that was done. Is if you've been bitten by a shark, that's the interesting story you tell everyone, right? Whereas they make her have an X Factor fucking contestant style
her best friend
story. Her best friend had been murdered, so on midnight on New Year's Eve, she's going to go and have a swim for her best friend or surf for her.
To say goodbye.
Yeah, the amount of times I've almost broke my own sobriety in the name of a friend who wouldn't have give a fuck if I was going to go and...
Yeah.
Come on, Pat, it's WrestleMania. He's up there. He wants us to do this.
Yeah, she wanted closure. That was it. And again, lots of padding, right? They padded this one out. This didn't have to be 44 minutes, this show. This was, at best, 18 minutes.
This was a YouTube clip,
Yeah.
Because then they say, what the shark to come in and then say... She gets bitten. Don't want to spoiler alert. She gets bitten and then... a paddle boarder has his phone on him so he can phone an ambulance to take her to hospital.
And they use the leash on the surfboard to tourniquet. They did that on both the shark attacks. So that's a good top tip. If you're a surfer and you see someone bit by a shark, use your leash as a tourniquet.
It's to be honest, the great humanity aspect of it is the people that come and help her.
Yeah.
Because if I saw that fin swimming around me, I'd be like, listen, if you make it to land, don't tell people I did this.
I'm sorry. I'll speak well at your funeral.
As I do my butterfly stroke away gracefully.
They had some footage of a bull shark, and I think it was eating another bull shark. And then another bull shark came along and tried to grab the other end of it. So it looked like these two sharks were spit roasting another shark. It was just the weirdest thing. Did you see that?
Yeah.
That was just, you were like, what's... Okay, that's just weird. Oh, you fucking weirdo sharks. And then we go to South Africa. Now, the reason I love surfers is I used to live with a load of surfers, South African surfers. That was my... And they were cool, right? These people are just cool. Even now, my mate Rob, he owns a surf shop. That's what he does on the beach in South Africa. And he teaches people to kite surf.
It's like, I'm sure I've said it in the past, but I know you've got a seashell necklace somewhere in a drawer.
Oh, shit, yeah. And the South African, even this guy did it.
I have a subscription to Billabong to send me shirts that don't fit. Yeah.
And there's this guy. So it's the guy and his wife, isn't it? And her name's Christy Sturwig, and she married a guy called Denver. And it's like the first day of their honeymoon, and they go surfing. And it doesn't go well.
Yeah, because the fella, isn't it? It's Denver. He says he sees the shark circle round him. And then he says when he put his legs off the surfboard back into the water, he's like, why did you fucking do that?
Yeah.
I would have lived. I would have went to fucking...
I live now.
I would have... I'm at sea now. This is me. I'm never stepping off this until I'm on fucking land.
Go get that helicopter. But the South Africans and my mates do this. They do incredulity very well. They're like, what? No way, bro. And he seems so calm, right? He was talking about this shark. It was just...
And then so, again, they help him, get him to the hospital. And then they get one of the specialists to come in and look at like the bite marks on his shoulder and go, "Oh, that's interesting. See, I thought it was a bull shark." And you can tell he's just like, "I didn't think I'd have to take my shirt off for this. I just thought I could tell the story about how I got in." And he's got this like weird little guy just poking and going, "See the teeth here, these lacerations? That could have been a tiger shark." And he's not interested in the fucking slightest, you know what I mean?
But when they say that, then the narrator cuts in and went, and it's the same narrator. Actually, did I make a note of the narrator's name? Because he's got sexy narrator voice going on for him as well. No, I didn't. But the narrator guy says, and it could be a bull shark, not a tiger shark. Yeah. And I'm like, we need him on Making a Murderer.
No, we don't. Making a Murderer is a million. I'm looking so forward to jumping back on that because I miss good documentaries.
I think the problem is, see, normally I would have watched this documentary and gone, "Yeah, that was all right." But because we've seen such great documentaries and some shit ones, when you watch something like this where it almost feels...
It's fluff. It's fluff.
It is fluff, yeah. What did you say? There's no real character in it.
Well, it was just as an off thought as talking about the scar and checking the scar and seeing what kind of shark it might have been via his shoulder. Is like going to a guy who was caught in the Wembley Stampede as people broke in to the stadium during the final and being like, "Oh, that's interesting. By the shape of the boot, it's a Rockport, not a Dr. Martens. That's actually someone from Durham that was kicking your head in, not Birmingham. All right, that's an interesting fact. I thought it would have been a Brummie." And he's like, "Yeah, thanks, mate. Can I get me whatever this fee is to fucking debase myself on this show, please?"
Yeah, because I need more acid to try and get over the PTSD of that. And then we're off to... They all survive. I think that's the good thing about Shark versus Surfer is all the surfers in this one survive. And Denver was all right. But again, as he said, look, this is part of going into nature. But they've all got PTSD, right? Every fucking single one of them. You're looking at them
especially
going,
this next guy. This next guy's dedicated his life to it. So this next guy, Alex,
well,
there was a shark warning.
There was a shark warning, yeah.
People have said, "We've seen great white sharks in this area. Do not go in the water." They then drove up in the boat. Is it drive when you're in a boat? Is that the...
But I think if it's got an engine, it's not sail, is it?
Yeah.
You rock up in a boat because you're cool.
The Coast Guard rocks up. All right. And they're going, "Hey, lads, there's a shark. You can't get in here, but you need to get back to the land." And then one guy goes, "No, I'll be fine." And they're like, "Oh, fuck this guy." So everyone else goes in but this one. And then within 2 minutes, a shark's knocked him off.
Yep.
Because you can actually see the shark going under the wave. But I think that's just footage of a shark going under the wave.
No, that's just a shark surfing. That's all. Yeah, well, we saw that like the turtle porn in the other one.
Yeah, exactly that. So,
but great stats
and
here.
then
because in
this
Australia,
is Australia, if I'm not mistaken. So just
Perth.
quickly, the shark grabbed him and he goes, "So the shark's circling me." So I like swore at the shark and started hitting him with my board. Just the idea of he swore at the shark, and that's what worked. So then
it's like the end of Rocky IV. At one point, he's gonna fight back. Boy, that's some of this, Mr. Shark. And where does he hit the shark? On the nose. Should have punched him in the fucking ear.
If I can't surf anymore, I got to go home and speak to the wife. So then you see him coming out of the water, and this is a funny little Australian bit, right? So like you see him staggering out of the water, blood trailing behind him, and then they go up to him with a camera, and his legs got a flap out of it.
Yeah.
And someone goes, "Oh, that's not so bad, mate," which is absolutely true compared to what could have happened.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is bang right.
He could have been the hangnail equivalent of a shark attack.
Compared to the first contestant on I Was Bitten by a Shark, he's got off so fucking lucky. But it's just the idea of you walking out, you're losing blood, it must be so painful. It goes, "Yeah, that's not so bad. I mean, it'll hurt like hell, but..."
But the great stat on that one is in Australia, there's been 13 fatalities over the last 100 years. I think we've lasagnas with a higher kill rate than that in England. The surfer who wanted to do so much there was called Alex Travagoni, and he was the guy who was shouting at the fella to get out of the water. And they're in Perth, which now apparently Perth...
Now, Travagoni's who got bitten, I think.
Oh, he was. I beg your pardon. Yeah. I didn't make a note of the guy's name. Oh, okay. Yeah, Alex Travagoni, the guy who got bit. But he was surfing in Perth, which apparently best beaches on the planet.
But then they turn to the left and there's like a whale that's been beached and is bleeding, and that's what's drew the sharks out.
Yes. And they swim.
So there's always a reason why the sharks are there.
Yeah, well, they swim from South Africa to Australia to eat the whales that get beached. And then they say Florida is the America's shark bite capital of the world. That's 33% of all shark attacks. So I think all we got to do, Rick, is if we're ever going to go surfing, let's not do it in...
I'm cool. I know I'll be bad at it. I wouldn't get the board from the start of the sand to the water. I wouldn't get that far with it. It looks clumpy.
It is clumpy.
Now, they've got researchers on this one. They're looking at the black-tip sharks. And the one I liked about this little segment is they showed you aerial footage of where sharks are towards the land, because the black-tip sharks...
That was fascinating.
And the black-tip sharks can come into shallower water due to their size, and they stay away from the bigger predators.
Yeah.
So how close they are to people is something else. Like, that is
and
a reason
most
why
people
I'd never
don't realise.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then his maths teacher, Chris Bryan.
Yeah, I like the just quickly the the biological sciences in Florida Atlantic University. Professor Stephen Kajigura, he sticks radio boxes on those black-tip sharks so he can monitor where they go. How tough must that be for the shark? Because one side, it must be a little bit weighted, right? Because they put it right on its fin at the top there.
And everyone sees it coming because it's playing absolute radio. Just classic rock all day long.
Oh, look, he's showing off again with his technology. Look at him. And his eye patch. He's such a dickhead, that shark.
Just a great white shark comes by and all his, I want it all. I want it all. That's exactly the music they do as a shark's like surfing along a wave going... But that Chris Bryan, the maths teacher, I don't know why this triggers is very much the wrong word given the impact, but
the walkout music.
The flare out with me is he looks like every guy I've ever known that owns an iguana.
Oh yeah.
Over 40, long hair, looped earrings.
Yep.
And you can tell he didn't have one there, but he wants a goatee. He does not like the fact he hasn't got a goatee.
But with the narrator's voice, right, and he went, and he walks out, right, this dude, this Chris
It looks
Bryan.
like the comic book guy from The Simpsons has had his stomach stapled.
Yes, right. And he walks out to some really, really cool rock music, and he goes off to surf, and the narrator goes, again, sexy voice narrator goes, maths teacher, Chris Bryan. You're like, oh, he's a maths teacher. And then you see a close-up of him, you're like, oh, you're not that cool. But he says, you know, he had so many stitches, the surgeon ran out of thread.
Oh,
really?
When you see he got bit on the bottom of the foot, that made me cringe a little. The bottom of the foot. You can have me ass, but leave the soles of me fucking feet alone.
Oh, wow. Like, that's Midnight Express, isn't it, when they beat his feet? Ugh, okay.
And
then the sad bit comes, and this is sad, and they're just trying to eke out the drama, aren't they? Because they take poor Marjorie from Hawaii back to the spot where she was attacked so we can see her cry. It's so mean. Marjorie, you didn't have to go back there.
Imagine them sat around in the production truck going, fancy going back to Hawaii, lads? It's in the budget. It's in the budget. Yeah, it's fine. Grab your camera. We'll go and make her cry by the sea.
Oh, it was just, they didn't need to do that. It was so mean. Okay, yeah, and then it ended. I didn't mind the shark versus surfer, but here's what I will never do. I would rather go swimming with sharks or surfing with sharks than watch another National Geographic documentary. because
they're struck off now. That sucked.
They're on the list. They sucked.
They both sucked. Yeah, they very much did. I would give this a combined 1.
I'm not even. No, I'm giving it a 0. I'm giving it
a 0 and a 1.
It's a 0. Right. Yeah, I can't in all good conscience give this a number. This hasn't earned a number.
Because at the end, the last stat they give was you're more likely to die taking a selfie than you are being bitten by a shark. And I thought, at least then they'd have some actual fucking footage.
Okay, this episode was worth it.
Did you hear about the lassie in? Did you hear about the lassie in Eastbourne? Or was it a sad story? But
no.
So it's like a foreign exchange student, I think, in Eastbourne, if I remember the story correctly, right? And they're on Beachy Head. So she gets to the edge of the cliff, and there's like, you have tourists walking around and just general people waiting to kill themselves. But she's wanting a picture of Beachy Head, and she turns around to like someone else who's milling around, goes, "Excuse me, do you mind taking a photograph of me, please?" And he goes, "Yeah, no bother." And she steps back, falls off, and he's holding the camera. So then can you imagine your day, and you've got to explain why you've got this lass's camera who's now at the fucking bottom of the...
Oh, my word.
Yeah.
Did he kill her? He killed her?
I don't know. I mean, he says that she slipped.
Fuck.
Yeah. How fucked up's that? You just said, yeah, I'll take a photo. What's your name? Wait, are you from Oreo? Whoa, Jesus!
There is a superb, and I do mean superb, British sitcom where the woman just comes out of prison. I cannot think of it. Dave Bailey recommended it to me. And fucking hell, it's good. I can't think of her name. It's a BBC thing. She just comes out of prison. Yeah, very. 6 parts. And it's just the perfect story arc. And it is superb. I'll put the name of it in the show notes. But yeah, it's that story.
I'll check it out.
It is brilliantly written, and I mean brilliantly.
Because Bailey said so, not you.
Yes, that's why I had to bring that great guy's name up, because it's so well done. I could phone him up now and he'd tell me exactly what it's called. I'll put it in the show notes. Right, that's it. So for 2 documentaries, it scored 1.
And we understand
and that's
these last
Rick
few
being
weeks.
Generous.
The foot has been off the gas and picking decent documentaries. We have a fun one not a fun one, but what looks like a good one. We're going to be doing Crip Camp soon. And on the Patreon, we've got all the Jinx, Making a Murderers coming out. What else we got on the Patreon? McMillions, Alan V. Farrow.
Favourite documentary ever. I might just rewatch McMillions because I loved it so much. And yeah, we're currently recording Making a Murderer, which
you don't have time to rewatch McMillions.
Yeah, it's a good point.
I control what documentaries you watch and when now, sir.
I've just re-lost. And we're just coming up to, as well, we are coming up to our 1-year anniversary. So yeah, man, we are in a week's time. That will be our 1-year anniversary of first publishing.
Check that out.
Nice work, man. I love working with you, Rick. So this is awesome. Thanks.
Hey, this is a few months back, you angry little shit.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That was a few months ago. That's when it was cold. It's summer now. Life's great.
The changing of the seasons. The clocks went forward. It's Matt again. No, that was... hey, someday we'll do our own documentary and explain what happened there.
Or just come to my show in Faversham.
Oh,
yeah. Find everything out.
I'm angry, not cute. The Matt Wills story.
Yeah.
What's the how do they get links for tickets? Or
go to
places?
our Facebook page. It's all on there. And or
Facebook
go to the
page.
Faversham Fringe Facebook page. Or just turn up. You'll be all right. There's 40 seats. I don't think I'm going to sell 40 tickets. It's Faversham in Kent. It's beautiful.
All right. Okay. Let's do the over under. I bet you go over 25.
Okay. Well, cool. Just so you know, Bob Geldof lives there, and he might come. So, yeah, beautiful place, Faversham. I was there today, putting up posters. A stunning place. That's
they're going to be out taking them down if it's beautiful.
Yeah, come along. Right, let's. I've got to edit this and get this on air in. Oh shit, man, we got less than 10 hours.
Matt, it doesn't have to be out for 7. Listen, if you can send us a message, say you don't download it at 7, so Matt can just close this loop in his mind, because he really does himself a disservice.
It's got to go out at 7. All the others have gone out at 7:11 a.m. It's called continuity, Rick. It's really important. Right, say goodbye, Rick.
All right, thank you very much for listening. Just one last plug for a show. It's going to be really good. And yeah, take it easy, guys.
Ta-da.